Hello and welcome to episode number 7 of Let's Talk Design. On this episode, I talk about what I wish I knew when I left college, can you learn to be a designer, how to keep up learning whilst also paying bills, if designers should have a recognisable style, and what to look for in collaborators. Sam asks, what do you know now that you wish you knew when you left college? Hey Sam, thank you for the question. What do I wish I knew when I left college? That people will hire me, even though I was only young. That was something I was really worried about when I first went out on my own and actually ended up starting like an agency, which everything was we and us, and really it was just me and I. So that put up a few issues and led me to running into some problems. So knowing that actually people will still hire you even though you're young and fairly inexperienced. Ashley asks, do you think anyone can learn how to design, or do you have to possess a natural flair for it? Thanks for the question, Ashley. I personally do think, yeah, you can learn design. I think design is not art, and I think that's the difference here. So when you're thinking about designing for the web, which is obviously what we're talking about here, you can learn about things like grids, typography, spacing, white space, and there's so many good resources now and freebies and templates and things that you can actually pick up and break apart and find out how they did things. I think, yeah, you can actually understand or learn design for sure. I do think some people perhaps possess a bit of a natural talent for it, and maybe they find it quicker to learn those things. But I think, as with anything like learning an instrument, if you learn the guitar, you can understand how a guitar works and what all the chords are, but then some people just have a natural ability, which means they're naturally going to pick it up quicker. So I guess that's how I would say to compare it, really. Dan asks, how do you keep up with learning while paying the bills? This is awesome because Dan was actually my lecturer when I was at college, and he's still a lecturer at the college I was at, and he's a great guy. So thank you, Dan, for asking this question. I really appreciate it. So the way I keep learning is by doing things outside of the kind of day job. So for me, it's doing side projects, and sometimes those actually are brought in to No Divide and become our own projects, but just doing extracurricular stuff, really, like I used to do when I was in your classes. All that time you spend outside of doing what you do every day, I think, is when you probably learn the most. And of course, it just comes down to balance, making sure that you keep these things in check and you're not just doing all the working, and you are actually also focusing on your day job. Rob asks, should designers have a recognisable style? Rob, yeah, I think they probably should have their own recognisable style, although I think, as I was talking about in the earlier question from Ashley, I think the underlying design principles, they don't really change too much, and it then comes down to style as to how actually our work looks. So I do think designers should have their own style, and I think it's something that can be found and takes time to realise. But yeah, I do think designers should have their own style. Chris asks, when looking for collaborators, what qualities do you look for? Experience is important, but are personal qualities more important when you're in it for the long haul? Hey Chris, thanks so much for the question. So when looking for collaborators, experience is important, skill set is important, finding the right people for the job. Obviously that's going to be important. So that comes into it, but I think personality and making sure you get on is the most important thing. So whenever I've worked with anybody, whether it's freelance or with the team now at No Divide, it's actually the people that we are really focused on, actually making sure that they're people we want to work with and become friends with and have an ongoing relationship with. I think too often you can bring in perhaps somebody for a job based on their experience and their skill set and not actually whether you get on with that person. I think especially for the long haul, that is really important, making sure you get on with somebody. As in for what personal qualities, I think passion, hard work, determination, those kind of things are really important. People that are driven to actually work hard. I think the other things we look at is self-awareness, people who can understand what they're really good at and what they're not so good at. Actually, that allows you to work much better together because then you're able to bounce off each other and collaborate in a much tighter way. So I think that's really important. So that's it for questions this week, but now it's time for some cool shit. There's a really good article published this month by Go Cardless, and it was about how they hire designers in their team. So if you're interested in how a tech company that I would personally perceive as more of a development heavy team actually hire designers, then it's really worth checking out. Something else that's caught my eye recently is StatShot. It's made by the guys at Exposure, which is also awesome. If you're into photography, it's brilliant. So actually that's like a bonus link. So check out Exposure, but StatShot is their new app they're working on, and it's, as they put it, simple and clear Instagram stats for you or your brand straight to your inbox. But you can sign up at statshot.co, and again, it'll be linked below. It looks awesome, and it's made by the guys, as I say, Exposure, who do an amazing job with pretty much everything they touch. So definitely go check that out. And the last one is Flinto for Mac. Now, Flinto's a tool that I've been using a bit. It was previously just on the web, I think. I'm pretty sure it was just on the web before, but now they have a Mac app, and it's another prototyping tool. I know we've got a few now. They've clearly put in a lot of work to this. It looks great. There's a really good little intro on their website, so go check out that. It's got some really nice transitions and animations, and particularly good for mobile design. So if you're into that, then it's for you. So that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a comment down below. I really want to start interacting with you guys a lot more. And please tweet about the show, subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, please keep asking questions. As I said before, I can't make this show without you. So thank you so much. Keep being awesome, and I'll see you next week.